So I recently came back from Japan and I learned a lot about not only myself, but the world. And in this video, I'll be talking about one specific concept that I really got to unravel and break down for myself, and it's growth. So in this video, I'll be sharing 5 different observations that I've had and how you can maybe learn from those and apply them to your own growth process. Let's begin. The first thing that I want to do is actually share the observation that I had that sparked this whole video. And it's that in Japan, I saw a lot of businesses that were owned by one person, run by one person, and that one person had been doing that job of running that business for many, many years. And this was an observation that I didn't just see once or twice, but many different times in Japan. And it really made me rethink why we need such exponential growth as a business. And can we apply this concept of keeping things small to other aspects of our lives? In 2015, Blue Ball Coffee was founded, and in 2017, it was bought up by Nestle. Now, comparing the experience between a single owner cafe versus Blue Bottle, across the board, I would say that these single owner cafes, they had better experiences, they had better interactions going on. And comparing that to Blue Bottle, well, it had the mass appeal, it gets a lot of eyes, and it probably gets a lot of sales too because it's very consistent and it gets you the thing, which is coffee. Now, I would take a small, independently owned coffee shop any day over Blue Bottle. And it's because I just really appreciate that whole experience that surrounds a small coffee shop. The second observation that I had is that growth, guess what? It gets exponentially harder the more you grow. And what I saw from this is that the more you grow, the more you need to actually nitpick on all of the other things that you didn't consider before, which then makes growth so much harder to do. And I can totally relate to this looking at my own coffee experience. So I've been in the world of coffee for around 10 years now. And in the first couple of years, it was all about just understanding and soaking in knowledge and just trying to brew a better cup of coffee with the knowledge that I had. And then later on, like year 6, 7, 8, it's practicing the craft. It's being a barista. It's making sure that you are doing the thing and doing the motions and producing a good cup of coffee. And as you keep on improving and learning and changing the way that you're brewing coffee, guess what? Things get harder and harder to do because there's so many variables that you are aware of that impact the taste of your coffee that you need to then consider. So here comes part 2 of this observation. With growth being exponentially harder, the deeper you get into a craft or topic or skill, maybe you should try to take a step back and understand how much input you want to put in to get a result that you are satisfied with. So instead of trying to control all of the variables of my coffee brewing, now I just control the ones that I know are the most impactful for the cup of coffee, and I still get a cup of coffee that I'm extremely happy with every single day. And this means that I'm taking way less time to brew the cup of coffee. I'm enjoying the process way more because I'm not so hyper controlling about all of the variables, which then also leads me to enjoy the final cup of coffee more because I'm in a happier mood when I am sipping that cup of coffee. If you want to learn more about brewing a delicious cup of coffee, then head on over to my other channel, Brewing Habits, where I talk about everything you need to know about brewing that delicious cup of joe. So the third observation is kind of similar to the second observation, but kind of different and important to highlight. And it is that constant growth is unsustainable. And an example that I have for this is rock climbing. For me, initially when I began rock climbing, I was hyper focused on just improving and getting better and hitting those next V grades every single time. What I quickly realized is that I hit a plateau. I would be around a V3, V4 climber in my first year or so, and I had a really hard time improving. I could feel defeated because I didn't have the same amount of growth that I was having, or I could just go back to the roots of why I really got into the sport of climbing, which was that I really enjoyed it. I loved the puzzle aspect of the wall, and I loved the community around it, and I just stuck to it. So right now, I would probably say I'm a V7-ish climber as of 2023. And this journey to get to this point has been a total roller coaster. I've had my fair share of injuries, sprained ankle, pulled pulley, puffy fingers, and right now I am just learning to deal with them. But I'm also growing at an exponential rate because I'm learning about my own body position, getting more flexible, dynamic moves, learning how to coordinate my body, learning how to actually utilize the strength that I have. And I really like the comparison between these two climbs where, guess what, I'm the same Paul, I'm wearing the same t-shirt, but my skill level and the problems that I climb are just way more complex and harder than anything that I would ever touch in my first year of climbing. Here's a small tweak to my initial observation. Constant growth is unsustainable, so don't expect the same rate of returns throughout your whole journey. There will be times when you see explosive growth. There will be times when you see negative growth. There will be times when you plateau and stay the same for a long time. But you will always grow if you stick to something. Observation number 4, it is that growth is complex. Whenever you expand and you get bigger, there's a lot of moving parts that need to go into that expansion and growth. And this is something that I actually observed in my own journey as a content creator. In the beginning, I kind of simplified the whole process of, yeah, I just need to get a higher subscriber count and I just need to press that record button, edit something together and post. That was the only thing that I needed to focus on, and with that, growth would occur. And what I quickly realized was that there were just so many other aspects to content creation that I needed to focus on to grow in a healthy way. And as a content creator, I realized that this job is super multifaceted and I need to do all of these other things to create a successful video. And it's not just about pressing that record button. So adding a bit more to this observation, yeah, growth is complicated, so don't hyper-focus on one specific metric. Instead, understand all its complexities and improve on all of those variables. That will allow you to become way more well-rounded and have better quality growth. Fifth and final observation is that growth takes time. And this is something that I really observed with coffee owners that had not been doing their craft for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. It was decades. Let me share an example of this. So on the left we have Koyama coffee, and on the right we have Hiragi coffee. You might notice that they look very similar. Well, it's father and son. So what I want to focus on is actually not their coffee routine, their coffee shop, or how delicious their coffee was. It's how long they have been owners of their cafes. So Koyama Coffee owns that cafe with another owner, and he has been open for 2 years. Now looking at his dad, who opened Hiragi Coffee, he has been doing it for close to 50 years. And even though their routines are extremely similar, you can tell that the dad has refined his technique to a totally different level, being able to brew it exactly to a point, filling up the cup perfectly with his cold coffee. It is just so inspiring to see these awesome feats of consistency, that someone has stuck with something for such a long time, that they're proud of their craft, that they can brew an amazing cup of coffee, and that all of this is because they just did it for way longer than many other people. It's just mind-boggling whenever I think about how long some of these people have brewed coffee for. Now, if you have any observations about growth that you want to share, then post those in the comments below. And that's it for this video. My name is Paul, and I'll see you in another one. Take care.